Well, basically, this is my proposal for Fun10, and it consists in creating a content creation DAO, a DAO that will run marketing, education, and content creation. Uh, okay. Basically, we are looking to solve two big problems. One problem is that blockchain cryptocurrency Cardano is difficult to understand for the majority of people. And there's a lack of knowledge, not only in terms of the tech, but also in terms of the benefits and in terms of how people can use it. And this lack of knowledge is a huge barrier to adoption. One way that we are solving this is with content creators. They play a crucial role, and many of us got onboarded with the help of content creators that create some amazing content for us and bring a lot of value. But they have very limited rewards. They don't get enough for the work they do. It ends up being a labor of passion, and even the content creators themselves don't have as much time to create quality content, to be more consistent, and some of them end up even giving up. So the solution is to create a DAO that would focus on supporting content creation. This DAO would give the Cardano community a direct voice in terms of the content that should be created, as people would be voting for what is important. It would also give us an institution that could define a marketing and education for Cardano, and that could be broader than just the current Cardano audience. And content creators would work here, would collaborate together, and would create the content and get the support and the value they need for the work they do. In terms of impact, we give a voice to the community, which is very important. People will be able to say what they think is important and will more likely watch it and support it. We'll give rewards and support content creators in their work. It will also be a great place for projects. Projects can come in and engage with the community, create videos, tutorials, even like share strategies so people can start using these projects more easily. It's if we define, as we were stating, a strategy with the DAO for marketing and education, it can be a great place to promote Cardano to new users, to people from other blockchains, but even people that want to learn about blockchain, new people that could be attracted with the right kind of content. And this DAO, being run by the Cardano community, could be a great place for debate about Cardano and to support the governance process, for people to share their ideas for Cardano and for D-reps, for example, to say and to defend what they believe in. In terms of advantages to current solutions, basically, we have the community supporting, involved in the process, making choices, and also being rewarded to share these videos to make them go further. We have content creators being supported and empowered to create more content. And even the content creators themselves will work together. They'll aggregate their audiences in terms of this DAO. And we can also use that collaboration to reach more people. And as we stated, we have a strategy for the first time, an institution with the strategy for education and marketing on Cardano, something we don't have right now. So this is the proposal Discord. Please, guys, join us, because should be a DAO made of Cardano community, Cardano members, people like Cardano. So yeah, we'd like to have you there collaborating, sharing ideas, and engaging. And then you can read the proposal here. And I just have my YouTube channel because I've been a Cardano content creator as well since the last 7 months, and that's how I came up with this idea. Well, thank you.
Outstanding, Rafael. And if nobody has a question, I will start first. So in which challenge do you submit this proposal? In the DAO infrastructure or the students one?
I did in DAO's Love Cardano.
Okay. And how was the feedback? Do you be able to see the assessment of the L1 community members, L0?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of mixed. I had a lot of great feedback from a lot of people. I checked the community reviewers too and the feedback. And then I had some worse feedback. What I felt was a bit strange is like some of the worst feedback was like people reviewing outside of their allocation. And like some of them was just, I had one guy that, for example, just copied, I even shared that on the Telegram, just copied things from that proposal, didn't add anything, just gave me a 2 in everything, and and there he goes. So yeah, it's a mix. I got some like valid criticism as well, but yeah, it was a bit confusing the whole process.
Okay, and you say that you have been creating content for 7 months of Cardano. You are just to create exclusive Cardano content.
Yeah, the goal for the channel is not to be just exclusive Cardano's channel. Cardano content is to be focused on decentralized blockchains.
Mm-hmm.
So any kind of decentralized blockchain, this channel is called Decentralized Nation. But you know, uh, I would say it's like 99% Cardano content, like just about the Cardano
Awesome.
ecosystem. Just because,
And
yeah, I enjoyed
yeah,
it and I have the knowledge about it just because I've been learning about it for a long time.
and did you ever think to apply to the Foundation Ambassadors Program to be able to continue with this content creation and don't depend on a catalyst proposal? I'm just thinking, right? Just
Yeah, I've checked that, but it's not available right now. But in this case, you know, the idea is to go a bit further than that, is to have all the content creators collaborating and to also to have a community giving a clear strategy for our content, for the content that should be created. After all, we've all been onboarded into Cardano. We've all had our process. We can see what is lacking, what could be done better. So it's more like joining all the content creators. We have a lot of great content creators, and for them to come together, share knowledge, share audiences, and work together to reach newer audiences. And then they'll benefit from it because, for example, you're in the platform, they see this content creator creating content, and if they enjoy what he's doing, they are more likely to follow him, much more likely than if you just get a random YouTube notification and you'll probably almost never click on it unless you're looking for a specific kind of content that this creator has.
perfect. I see that Alexandra has raised his hand first, and first Alexandra and later Rodolfo.
Yeah, I had a question in regards to, I'm not always in these LATAM town halls, so I appreciate being able to pop in and see that there's an English one for me, because I need to practice my Spanish. But the ecosystem is so big, so recognizing that you have been creating content for about 7 months now, I'm curious to know at what point in time did you feel like you were an authority figure for your specific expertise of Cardano? And do you have any like actual conversion numbers that would help in pushing forward the narrative of this proposal? Because I think that, it's hard to measure, but I would be curious with the content that you've been creating so far, if there's been any numbers to showcase a conversion of who you've onboarded, who you've talked to, and at the same time, like, in creating this alliance, it's kind of difficult, especially during the bear market. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it has a lot of. I saw more than one approach there. I think you have the side of my work and the side of how to attract content creators, right?
Correct.
Alexander.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, in terms of my work, yeah, it's been a bear market. In terms of knowing how many new people you're attracting, you're never sure of how many they are, except for the people you're talking. But you can see, for example, the views you have. You can see the subscribers. That's basically the metrics you have. Okay, in terms of metrics, it doesn't. Right now, I have around 210 subscribers, or a little bit more than that. So that's what I was able to achieve in this month, and plenty more views. I don't have the number right now. I think when I was looking at the proposal, creating the proposal was around 11,000 something views or something like that. But right now it should be much better because at the time when I was creating the proposal, I also only had like 170 subscribers. So yeah, in terms of the other things, there's a clear need as well in the Cardano content creator community for this kind of for incentives and just rewards for them to be able to do these because most of the times they don't get much except from at most ambassador programs or sponsorships, and they cannot dedicate completely to these And even those who have those sponsorships and ambassador programs, they cannot dedicate to these. And there was a content creators meeting where we had even Mauro. And I've been also approaching some content creators. And for example, I don't know if you're familiar with content creators, but we have Farid from Dab Central. We had a pretty nice talk. He joined the Discord. He's interested in participating in these. We had, for example, Josh from Late Game Crypto. I'm also talking to Pete, but we still from Cardano, but we still haven't got our meeting. So he's very busy with the Catalyst sprint, but I'm trying to close that down. So, right now so far, and even they don't know me basically, except maybe seeing 1 or 2 videos of mine, but they were like pretty interested in the idea. And I think that's positive. And I think if you bring the content creators, they have the power to bring their audience to the project and to bring the Cardano community and the people that watch them to come here, does it, and have like a saying in the content they create as well.
Intriguing.
Do you have any more questions, or was
I
it?
did, because
Okay.
I mean, understandably, I know, like, as I mentioned, it's a hard thing to measure. You can measure your subscribers, you can measure your views, and look at metrics from there. Is there any way that you can identify like who's viewing your content more? And do you have any ideas of being able to implement a conversion like tool where, like, let's say people subscribe to your email list or something of that reference, to where you can actually have one-on-one communication with people, instead of just hoping that from a view they're going to be converted? I mean, same thing with religion. Typically, you can have a preach sermon sort of thing, but then at the end of the day, you have the one-on-one conversations that lead towards the conversion of, I'm Christian, I'm Catholic, or so on and so forth, is the journey. So I'm curious, like, outside of the content creating in Cardano School, what ideas do you probably have to implement this growth for the ecosystem to continue a maybe conversion? And it doesn't have to be converting everyone every month or that kind of goal setting thing, but just curious if there's been a thought towards that, because anybody can make content, but it's not easy to actually lead the horses to the water to actually drink everything all the time. That makes sense.
Okay, so you think it's not easy to attract people to watch your videos? Is that what you're saying, basically?
Yeah, because I mean,
or are you even saying further than watching the videos, more things, more interaction?
It's two sides. One, because they have to be actually actively looking for you and looking for the topics that you're talking about. That's one part where you're obviously having to do marketing and making sure that you're hitting the right demographic who needs to hear this message that Cardano exists, and at the same time catering the content for ensuring that they will find their way to their niche, because Cardano is so vast. You've got the degens, you've got the builders, you've got stake pool operators, and you want to make sure that you can hit each of those demographics appropriately and giving them the awareness of these appropriate opportunities for them, while also then taking into account how do you convert these people to not only discover you, but also be interested in that content enough to pursue taking the next step.
Okay. Well, for this is kind of a complex answer, but I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. But first of all, in terms of strategy, in terms of everything that should follow, there will be discussions, and what will be set in stone will be voted by the DAO in terms of strategy for reaching to new people, for the content creation, and how things should be doing. So basically, everyone in Cardano can have their saying of what kind of strategy we could achieve. In terms of reaching new people, if we are trying to go outside of Cardano, I think, if you, for example, go to people who are already familiar with blockchain, the strategy should be a bit different. You can talk just about some advantages of Cardano, keep sharing your work. It just, for example, if you have a topic that's being discussed in that ecosystem, maybe you can discuss that topic as well and see how it relates to Cardano and its technology, for example. But if you want to go even further to people that are outside cryptocurrency and blockchain, I think like the most important thing would be to easily like talk about topics that are related to Cardano, like financial topics, for example, show them the benefits, and then mention what is the technology that could give him these benefits. And they watch this video. If they are interested, they will check the other videos in the channel and progress slowly. And in fact, in the channel, you can also make like your playlist, and also at the end of the video, suggest which video would be good to follow up in terms of content. But of course, this will be voted and decided by the DAO. That part is very important. In terms of reach, we increase our reach by having several content creators with a large audience collaborating. So if you have our content creators collaborating, the audience will be able to reach from the beginning will be significant, especially if you have these content creators dedicated and also sharing these, which for the feedback I've been given, they would be more than willing to do that because it would be something that would be beneficial to them directly. And the other thing is we also want to implement rewards and incentives. It's all, at the end of the day, that's the great thing about blockchain. It allows us to align incentives to have people doing the kind of actions that are good for society, for the ecosystem as a whole. So we would allow incentives for users and people of the community to, for example, share our videos and make them reach more people. I don't, is that a good, did I mention everything of your question or?
No, it's a great
But-
start. It's also one, not to be too difficult, but with mentioning that you've been in the ecosystem for only 7 months, I've been in the ecosystem for 3 years. It's more or less honing in on making sure that when we are implementing this proposal, it's doing it with the right mission and the right mindset. At the same time, also considering all of the factors that, people like myself have been here for 3 years, building, so on and so forth. But at the same time, we've been hitting a wall and hitting the same results. So it's caused insanity in that sense, that it feels like what else can we possibly do different? And it's nice to see new people coming in thinking, that they could try to do the same route. However, it's a matter of just taking the test to seeing like, how can we evolve that, we can create alliances. We've done this, we've done that. However, it hasn't resulted in the end mission that we wanted with mass adoption. And so it's also been more or less a test from me to learn what brought you to Cardano and what's continuing your mission with this incentives and things like that for continuing that education to making sure that mass adoption happens, while also considering that people who are looking for who you are and looking at the content that you're making, you also have to be considerate of the people of overall unbanking the unbanked. How are they going to have access to blockchain information? They already don't have that. So even though that we're making tools for YouTube, tools for TikTok, and all of those resources that are abundant, it's also considering that not everyone has access to that. So how can we measure that growth? And I hope that I didn't take too much time, but I do want to get to the other hands and see if there's any other considerations for her.
That was perfect. And thank you for your insights. I guess that you, Rodolfo, you will need to wait that everyone present their idea. You can make your question again. Raf, do you want to do a little wrap up in 1 minute, please? I don't know if you just want to make a conclusion, but just a minute to go to
maybe two simple questions. Two simple questions.
Okay.
Where's the budget and where's the timeline to implement that?
Where is the the budget?
The budget, yeah. Simply, yeah.
But the budget is 200,000 ADA, so around $40,000, and the timeline would be 10 months. I don't know. I can share the link for the proposal. You have all of that.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, no, that's okay.
I guess.
Just to keep it in the recording. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, in terms of the rest. Sorry, I was just gonna thank for your questions, and also like, yeah, I mean, I've been trying to build for 7 months. Yeah, that's true, but I've been here since 2020 as well, invested, learning, etc. And yeah, in terms of what I believe is just, I think if we align incentives for the people to do everything, things will start being built. Of course, mass adoption is like the internet. The internet was super good, but it took time, and more than just content, we'll need tools that are easier to use for the common people. Well, thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah.